Hi, Jodi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so happy to connect with you. I love your energy. Um,
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I think this is going to be fun.
yeah, me too. I was while I was getting ready earlier, I had this like a download in my head that you and I are meant to connect. It's like
Oh
we
my God, that is so weird because I literally had that same feeling this morning.
imagine that. I think we knew each other from previous life.
Oh, I totally believe in all of that.
Yeah,
So
me too.
definitely.
Yeah. And I absolutely love the fact that you're on the other side of the world and we can do this.
I know it's awesome, right?
Yeah, it's 4 o'clock where you are, it's 9 o'clock here, and I don't really care that it's so late because I do something that I love. So
It's
it
so
doesn't
funny
really
because that's
bother
how
me.
I feel about what I do too. When you do what you love, it's not like you're actually doing a job. It's fun.
Yeah, I was on my laptop until what 9 o'clock last night editing a video for YouTube, and it doesn't feel like a chore.
Yeah.
Right. So let's get to it. Tell me what you do. I had a look on your website and it looks amazing. The things that you do, it's just so new for me. And I look forward to finding out more about your beautiful work.
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about it. So, I'm a quantum human design specialist. And so, I don't know if you know anything about human design, but human design is basically an understanding of your own unique energy. And that really is what makes us who we are.
Mm.
So, as a specialist, I can actually read people's energy in that, not necessarily that I can tell you what you're thinking, but I can uncover the hidden insights behind the decisions that you make and help you to get to know your true self. Because what happens is throughout life, we get conditioned by society
Yeah.
and we forget or we lose sight of who we actually are at our core. And it pulls us away from our core soul frequency,
Mm.
which changes who we are. And so human design helps us to get back in touch with who we were meant to be. And it helps us to learn the lessons that we were here to learn because it's a map of our energy and it literally tells us what lessons we're here to learn. So it helps us to understand ourselves a little better so that when we interact in the world, we're not necessarily as down on ourselves.
Yeah.
When we're following society, we have this thought about ourselves that we must not be right, there must be something wrong with us because we feel differently than what society expects of us. And so this is sort of a tool to break that down and to show you that who you are and that it's okay to be who you are.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I'm quite interested in, let me just go to your website and read. Certified quantum human design specialist. So what got my attention was the word quantum. I know there is something called quantum physics. Um, could you explain a bit more about quantum healing, if that's the correct term?
Yes, yes. So there's human design, traditional human design, and then there's quantum human design, and they go together. But regular human design is it shows you what your energy is when you're out of alignment. So it shows you based on how you're feeling, what you'll feel like when you're out of alignment. Where quantum human design shows you the possibilities of what you can feel like when you're in alignment or when you start working on yourselves, where that energy is going to take you. So instead of feeling down on yourself, what area of life is that going to lead you to? And in your chart, I don't know if you've seen a human design chart, but they're pretty intricate. And every number, color, shape, it all means something. And when we bring it all together, it tells the story of us. So it tells us what it's going to feel like with through traditional human design if we're out of alignment. So when we start doing this and we start practicing awareness, we know, hey, this is how I feel, and that doesn't quite feel right. So you know you're out of alignment. That's where traditional human design helps with that. Quantum human design helps you to show you what you can feel like when you do the work, which pushes you to do that work. Because anybody on a spiritual journey knows that this work is not easy. It's probably
Yeah.
the hardest thing you'll ever do in your entire life. So you have to have something to look forward to, right? So quantum human design, the difference there is just that it gives us there's three different sides. There's the shadow side, the gift side, and the city side. Quantum human design pushes us more towards the gift side and the city side. And quantum physics is part of human design. It's made up of quantum physics, Eastern and Western astrology, the Jewish Kabbalah, the Hindu chakra system, and there's one more. I don't remember the last one off the top of my head, but quantum physics is part of it. So this is backed through science. It's not just something that was pulled out of a hat and put together. So it's pretty fascinating when you get into it. You know, I've done several readings, hundreds of readings at this point. I have yet to meet somebody that hasn't resonated with at least some part of their chart. And the chart can be difficult because if you don't have the exact time of birth, which some people don't, it could throw off some of the chart and what it says about you. And so we have to sort of test that and go by feeling. So if you have your time of birth, it's great. I've never, ever had anybody say they didn't resonate. The only times I've had people say they haven't resonated was the people who didn't really know their time of birth and we were sort of guessing. And in that case, we do every 2 hours just to sort of see what does it feel like when you try it on for size, does it resonate? Because if it doesn't resonate, that's not you.
Right. Okay. Yeah, actually, I do know my time of birth.
You do?
Yeah. My mom told me many, many years ago, and I remember it to this day. And I remember when I moved out from home years ago, she used to call me on my birthday at that specific time every year.
Oh, that's awesome. So in our house, time of birth is a really big thing because of what I do. So we
Yeah,
all know our time of birth, but a lot of people don't. Anybody
yeah,
that does astrology or usually any kind of spiritual work, they usually know.
right. So how did you end up doing what you're doing?
Oh goodness, this is a story. So, back in 2020, I had just lost both of my parents. My parents died within a matter of 8 months of each other, 7 months. And I was crushed because my parents were my world, like they were
Mm,
my unconditional love. So I was going through that. I worked at in a corporate position for like 21 years and I was going through a hard time there. I all of a sudden after doing the same job for years, I couldn't do it anymore. There was something about it. I just couldn't do it. And then it was during COVID and I didn't like how people were being segregated and I just started to feel like this isn't a good fit for me. I was going through marital problems. I was on the verge of a divorce, and my oldest was going to college, all at the same time. And there was other things too. Some things I'm not quite ready to talk about, but there was every single area of my life was basically crumbling down around me, and I didn't know what to do. So I tried counseling. I tried different kinds of therapy. I went to marriage counseling. Like I did yoga. I did Pilates. Like I tried all of these different things to try to figure out how to help myself, and it just wasn't working. So I started listening to positive podcasts, and I came across this class. It was called Manifestation Babe, and she called it the MBA. And so I joined that. And through that, I learned so much about myself. But the biggest piece that came out of it for me was she introduced human design. And the first time I saw it, I was like, oh my God, that's scary. I don't think I can do that. Like I'll never be able to figure out what that chart means because there's so many different intricacies to it. And I just started trying. I just started looking things up on my own. And as I started to look things up, that it was like I was reading my diary. Like what I was reading about what my energy said about me was like I was reading my diary. And I was like, oh my God, how do they know this? So I got fascinated and I dove deep, and literally my chart is who I feel like I am. So it sort of gave me the permission to act like that person, because when you study human design you realize that that's who you were meant to be. So as I started to break some of these limiting beliefs that were holding me back, and don't get me wrong, I'm not all the way there yet because there's a lot of healing and a lot of layers to do, but as I started to break some of these limiting beliefs and started to step outside my comfort zone, I started to see that, yeah, I felt more comfortable with who I was, with myself, with other people, like just in every situation. So I decided I was going to go get certified, and I needed to teach this to other people because it literally is what pulled me out of my funk. I mean, I
This,
was at a point in 2020 where I didn't know if I even wanted to be here. It was bad.
you
Probably
know,
not 2020. That was probably 2021. And that's when I found that. That's when I found
mm,
human design. It was February of 2021. And I just went all in, and it's been an amazing journey for me. I can't even tell you the difference in me and
that's
how I
great.
feel.
It's very inspiring what you're saying, and also it's fascinating that you want to share your knowledge with other people and help them to become better. Um, because by what you were saying about I forgot the term again, human design, that's it. Human design, it's something that would it's like it's a motivation to something that shows you what you can be if you just take a step back and focus on yourself.
Exactly.
I've never heard of
Exactly.
that before. It's quite interesting. I'm going to research it. I might even
Oh,
book a session with you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I do human design readings. Right now, I'm working on I'm going to do a free workshop. It's not written yet. I'm working on it right now, but I'm expecting to do it in early October or
Mm.
late September, early October. Just a free workshop to help people to get to know themselves and get to know a little bit about their energy. Because if you think about it, everything, we're made up of energy, right? We're
Yes.
made up of 99.999% energy. It's it tells us when we're hungry, it tells us when to go to sleep, it makes our heart beat, our blood circulate, our eyes blink, like everything. It's also the thoughts that we think. And so human design is basically the way to understand how that's working or how that's meant to work for you. It's reconnecting us to that intuition that we were born with. Because if
Yeah.
you think back years and years and years ago, they that's all they had was their intuition.
Yes.
But as we've evolved and generationally, we've gotten away from listening to our intuition.
Mm.
And that's really the key to understanding who we are and how to make decisions. Like human design tells us exactly for each energy type the best way for us to make decisions. And it breaks down so many different elements to help you to understand how to know within your own body whether or not that's the right decision for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, we've been suppressed, brainwashed, conditioned, call it whatever you want. And this is a
Yeah,
generational problem. It's not just, in my lifetime. And
absolutely.
it takes one to break the cycle. And I feel, and I'm seeing that a lot of people are starting to realize that there is more to this world. Because I learned to listen to my intuition a year and a half ago. And God, it's amazing. It's like having a conversation. It's basically having a conversation with your higher self.
Yes, yes. And like that's what I find so fascinating about it. And obviously you don't need human design to do that. But what human design does is it shows you like where within your body, when you feel different things, what does that mean?
Mm.
And so that's what's so fascinating about it. But I love how you describe that. It's like talking to your higher self. I literally have conversations with my higher self on a daily basis,
Yeah, yeah.
which if you would have told me 5 years ago that I was going to even that those words were going to come out of my mouth, let alone do it, I would have been like, yeah, not happening.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel. Yeah, I can't believe that I have become the woman I am today because I chose to evolve spiritually.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think people like us, our mission in life is to guide others to do the same because it's fascinating. You don't need to go on social media or watch TV or ask somebody what to do with your life. Just, ask your higher self. Your intuition will never lie to you.
yeah, yeah. And the other thing I love about it too is if it's meant for you, it will come. It might not be in your time, but it will come if it was meant. Nothing that is meant for you will get by you.
Yeah.
And I love that because it helps you to know that even when you're in hard, difficult times, because even when you go through a spiritual awakening, you're spiritual, you understand who you are, you understand your energy, you still can have things happen in your life. Like life goes on. There are
Yeah.
lessons for us to learn and to help
Mm.
us to grow. And so when that happens and we can learn from it, it's only going to help us to grow
Yeah.
bigger. I would love to hear a little bit about your I call it an awakening. I don't know what you call it, but what caused you to get into spirituality?
I broke up with my ex-boyfriend.
Okay. And you know what? That's exactly what it's like, right? It's like these major
Oh,
life events that happen that cause us to feel this way.
yeah.
Like that's exactly what I went through. Everyone I've ever done a reading for always has something that triggers them. They want
Yeah.
more.
Well, before we split up, I can't remember how long ago before that. I was made redundant. My father passed away. My father passed away, then I was made redundant. Then I had problem with my ex-boyfriend. And then one day I just decided, I had enough. I packed 2 bags and I left. And I used to live in London. So I left London. I moved to the countryside. Luckily, my family lives 15 minutes away from me. And I got my own place. I stayed with my mom for a couple of months. I got my own place, and so it began. I have emotional healing sessions still to this day, once a month, with an amazing, amazing woman. And slowly but surely, I allowed myself, because I allow myself to open up, to open and receive
Yeah.
uh these
I
things.
think that's key, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And do you know what also was key is to realize that I don't need a man to make me feel complete. I have me for that. I need a
Yeah.
man to complement my completeness.
I
And because
love that.
I
Yes.
learned to love myself, I met someone who loves me just as much.
Ah, congratulations.
And we've been together for less than a year. We already engaged. We bought a house. The wedding is booked. And that is because this is, the universe telling me, well done, Yana, for doing your job.
Yes.
I'm giving you gifts.
And I so feel like that's what it is. When we do the work,
Yeah.
the universe gives us these
Yes.
gifts because
Yeah.
we've done
Yeah.
the work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and it really is, you hit the nail on the head right there. You have to be open to receive.
Yeah.
So if you're closed, how can you be open to seeing things from different perspectives? That's
Exactly.
what you have to do in order to be able to see things from other people's perspectives. Like we don't we don't know, like I don't know what you've been through in your whole life and how you've been conditioned. So for me to get upset with you because you responded a certain way is ridiculous because
Mm.
we're coming from two different locations,
Yeah.
right? Or two different backgrounds from every kind of background. But that's what we're trained to do by society. Somebody says something that hurts you, you should just get upset and walk away, or that's what we're trained to do by
Yeah.
society. We're
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
trained to go within and
Yeah.
figure out, okay, why am I hurt by that? What can I learn from that? How can I grow from that? And that's what we need to do.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna mention here, I'm sure you have experienced this. People still exist in their ego mind. And for someone to step away from their ego mind, they need to recognize and realize that they should step away from the ego mind and focus on their heart chakra. That exactly what you just said. You don't know what I've been through. I don't know what you've been through. Um, if you say something that I don't like, I'm not going to get upset and end the conversation. I'll be grateful that actually that you're sharing your story with me.
Yeah. And you're absolutely right. I think it's a shift in how we respond to the world because we've been societally conditioned to think from here.
Yeah.
And we really, what we need is in here. Our heart has a brain, and that's the brain that we need to be using. And we're not trained to. We're trained to use
Yeah.
this brain.
Yeah.
It blows my mind that this isn't taught in school, because
I
I
know.
feel like there's so much that can
Mhm.
be learned from it.
Yeah.
And I even think it could help with like bullying and that kind of thing. Because if these kids knew at such a young age that they could use how they were feeling to help make themselves feel better, that's so much more impactful than going
Yeah.
out and teasing somebody else because you don't feel good about yourself,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
I agree with
know?
you. I I don't remember being bullying at school much because I always stood up for myself. But people still try to, at work, more than society, whatever. When you show to a bully that you're not afraid of him, of them, they're afraid of you.
Yes, exactly. But to somebody who's being bullied, they don't know that, you
Yeah.
know? My brother, I had a brother, he's passed away now, but when he was younger, he had developmental disabilities, and it caused him to have physical problems. So he was very, very overweight. And when he was a kid, people used to make fun of him all the time. And I would stand up for him because I didn't care. They weren't after me. It didn't bother me. But he was terrified of him, and he used to try to make friends with them all, and then they would take advantage of him because he just didn't know any better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how he felt about himself, because that's what everybody else, they always called them fatso and
Yeah.
slob, you
Yeah.
know. So I think it should be taught in school. And then the other thing about it too that I don't understand, and maybe you have some more background on this that you can enlighten me, but people think that it's evil to be spiritual. And
I
to me,
know. I know.
but
Oh,
to me, like, what is their definition of spiritual? Because to
yeah.
me, spiritual is getting to know yourself,
Yes.
learning to love yourself, right? So what's so evil about that? I don't get it.
No, me neither. Because I love the tarot, for example. I like
Yeah.
witchcraft. I mean, it's Friday the 13th today.
Yes, it is. I saw that. I was like, this is perfect.
Yeah, I know this is perfect time for this video. I know. I thought it
Yeah.
was meant to be, and I haven't got any problems with Friday the 13th. In my opinion, is a very powerful manifesting day.
Yes, I
Actually,
agree.
when we finish recording, I'm gonna have a meditation and then I'm gonna write a letter to the universe. Because the
I
last time
love.
I did it, everything I wrote in the letter happened.
Oh, I'm gonna do that too then.
Yeah, I just like to do just little spiritual things. Doesn't make me a bad person. And if someone has any problem with it, well, tough.
Yeah, yeah. It just blows my mind. I don't understand it. And maybe it's, we talked about this a little bit already. We different people raised from different backgrounds,
Yeah,
and maybe back years ago there was some evil element to it, but what I'm doing, what you're doing, I don't see any
no,
evil element to it at all. I feel like
no.
it's totally helping people to learn to love themselves, which I think is so valuable.
Well, I think part of the problem is because people have been told that it's bad by, mainstream media, for example, because they've been told it's bad because it's actually good for them and they shouldn't use it for their own benefits. I don't
Yeah,
want to say too much.
yeah, yeah.
Like Friday the 13th or different numbers like 666. Well, okay, yeah, maybe it is bad number, but it can be good number as well. So
It's all what you think
yeah,
about it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We
Um,
create our reality. So if
mm,
that's what we're thinking,
yeah, if exactly you attract what you are. This is one of my favorite quotes. You attract what you
yeah,
are. If you think
yeah,
bad, you will attract bad.
yeah.
Um, I want to ask you is, I had a look on your website that you help with um women to overcome limitations. What I want to ask is, what are the most common limitations that you see in people in your experience?
It's usually worthiness,
All right.
or they don't feel worthy of whatever's going on around them. You don't feel worthy of money, then money just slips away. You don't feel worthy of having that relationship, that relationship slips away. About self-love, there's a lot of self-love wounds out there. A lot of human design, a lot of what I see is between the worthiness and the self-love. But there's so many different ways that we can limit ourselves. You know, we believe that, you know, you're overweight, which means you're not pretty. Well, how does that correlate? It doesn't make any sense, right? We believe that, you know, we were a C student, so we're not smart enough to go to college. Well, that doesn't mean anything. Or you're not smart enough to start a business. It doesn't mean anything. Just because you don't test well doesn't mean that you can't own a business.
Yeah, there is
we have all of these
education and knowledge.
Right. And it's things like that that really interfere with and cause us to be different than who we are and really who we want to be, because we're afraid of being who we want to be, because we're afraid that society is going to judge us. And then we're going to feel worse about ourselves. And then that causes us to just shy away from everything. And that's how we get to the point of feeling stuck.
I learned a long time. To be honest, when I witness 3D behaviors, I like to call it, it's very because I'm so detached from the matrix. It takes me a while to realize what is going on, and I see a lot of people still caring about, you know, oh, what are they going to say about me? Oh, what if they don't like me?
Yes.
And I'm thinking, what is wrong with you people? No one cares.
Yeah.
As long as you're okay with what you're doing, that's
right.
all that matters.
But, you know, for a long time, that's how I lived.
Oh, me too. Yeah, me too.
You know, I didn't know any better. It's so weird because it's like when all of that stuff happened to me at once, I feel like it all happened. I mean, I definitely believe in divine timing. So I know it all happened at once and in the time frame that it did, because there was a lot for me to learn in that. And it was really what sparked my spiritual awakening, which at first I was calling a midlife crisis because I didn't know what it was. I just knew that my life was falling apart and I didn't understand why, or it was just that. So now I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? I lost my train of thought.
About your spirituality and all the things that happen to you at the same time, and divine timing.
Yeah, so I definitely believe in the divine timing, but I don't know how to get this out to people who aren't in that divine timing realm yet. But I personally believe that this is part of my purpose. This human design is part of my purpose. And that with that purpose, I believe that that's why I went through all of this, and that I'm supposed to help other people, because I think that we're going to be coming up on a time where there's going to be a lot of awakenings, and they might just be spontaneous. And so that was another reason why I decided to get into this and to really create a business and help other people, because when I was going through it, there wasn't anybody that could help me. I didn't know how. And so this is just offering a different way to support people through an awakening, or however you want to put it.
When I talked to a lady yesterday. I interviewed her for my YouTube channel. She's a psychic medium, and she said something similar, that, you know, back in the day there wasn't a lot of help, there wasn't a lot of like us, but now you can just go on Facebook pretty much, and there's just so many there's Facebook groups. I mean, we met on a Facebook group. In all honesty, all the people that I've interviewed for my YouTube channel, I've met on Facebook. I think only one lady I've met face to face, and that's because she lives in the UK. Everybody else is everywhere. How do you know what? Sometimes I'm struggling to sort of understand is how people realize that they need help. Do you know? Because healing, you can't force healing on people. It's a personal choice. You know, we all have free will. You can't just turn around and say, oh, you know, I need to heal you now.
I think it's more of, you sort of know when you're feeling stuck or you're feeling like, okay, I need a change. My life isn't headed where I wanted it to be or where I expected it to be. You sort of know, right? But it's not easy to know what to do about it. So when I was going through it, I didn't know that what I needed was to be healed. I had no idea that
Yeah.
at the time it was everything was happening outside of me, and it was the reason why I felt the way I did was because all that stuff was happening outside of me. What I learned from that and from human design is that all of that stuff was actually happening inside of me, and I needed to pull it apart and decode it.
Yeah.
So knowing that we need to be healed isn't always necessarily how it comes up.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was just, I don't know what to do. I'm at rock bottom. Please help me. And I prayed every night just because, like I said, I didn't want to be here. I didn't know what to do next. And it just, as soon as I started watching the Positive podcast, which came to me as a divine, like literally dropped into my head,
Oh,
watch Positive
wow.
podcast. And then slowly, one thing after another, I started just learning about human design and manifestation. And then I went into gene keys and numerology and
Oh, yeah.
astrology.
Yeah.
And I sort of combined it all to learn about me.
Yeah.
And that's how I knew that it was healing me, when I started to see that I was actually feeling better now that I understood what was going on. But in terms of other people, I'm not exactly sure how that's going to look
Yeah.
moving forward, because I think it's going to be different too, because I think it's going to be happening spontaneous for people,
Yeah.
you
Well,
know?
you said earlier midlife crisis. I think the term midlife crisis is just the society, explanation, the society, oh, she's in her midlife crisis. Oh, it's that time of of the month for her.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's a sign from the universe, right? You need to work on yourself, darling, because it's not going to get better if you don't do something about that.
Yeah. And it's so fascinating because when you follow astrology, you can see the timeline where it's going to come. Like
Yeah.
this week, or next week, the 17th, we're having an eclipse, right? So there's lots of eclipse energy. And so I don't get deep into astrology, but I just sort of listen to it in the morning as I'm getting ready, just to kind of see like what's going on. And I listen to mine and then my two kids. And my son, I knew something was coming up for him because it was showing in the universe or in the astrology. And sure enough, his girlfriend broke up with him. So you cannot convince me that this isn't what we're supposed to be doing. Like
Yeah.
every time I question myself or question anything around me, something happens that I'm like, that I knew was going to happen based on astrology or my, like within me, how I feel or how I was healing. And it just blows my mind how accurate it is.
I know, I know. Me too. It has happened to me, or when I receive a sign from the universe, or when I get a message in my head, and I'm like, at the beginning, I was like, this is not happening to me, and then I kept hearing the same thing over and over again. Oh, okay, then this is my intuition. So when we bought, well, so my fiance and I bought a house, and the whole process took 8 hours.
Oh my
Um,
God.
yeah, from speaking to the bank, viewing the house, making an offer and accepting the offer, 8 hours.
Wow.
And when we got home, because we don't live together, we went to his house, and I went to have a shower, and I thought to myself, universe, you need to tell me something about this, what is going on here? And I got, the universe is on your side. And I thought, is that it? Yes, the universe is on your side. Okay, fine. I'm not going to argue with you. Universe on my side.
Yeah.
How
You
cool is
know,
that?
and it's fascinating too, because you also see, I don't know if you see this, but I also see signs everywhere.
Yeah.
So synchronicities are crazy for me. Sometimes I'll ask for a sign. Hey, if I'm supposed to be doing this, or if I'm on the right track, show me a blue umbrella. So I literally did that one day, and it was probably the beginning of this summer, like May-ish. And I was walking down the street and it wasn't raining. It was a beautiful day. Like it's a beautiful day out today too. It was a beautiful day, sunshine, no rain anywhere. I look over, there's a big giant blue umbrella in a driveway. I'm like, there's no reason for that umbrella to be there. But I asked the universe to show me a blue umbrella if I was on the right track, and there's my blue umbrella.
Oh my God, that is
Isn't
amazing.
that crazy?
When people talk about magic, this is magic. This is
It
absolute
literally
magic.
is.
Yeah. Right. We almost ran out of time here. So I'm going to stop the video and I'm going to join you on the other link if that's okay.
Okay, let me jump over there and I'll see you there.
Good. There you go. We're recording again. But I'm having a really nice chat with you. Imagine if you and I go out for lunch or for dinner. We'll be there forever.
Oh God. But you know what? I love that because it's not a lot of people that you can have
Yeah.
conversations with. I actually struggle with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about this, but I struggle with that because this is somewhat new for me. I mean, it's only been a few years. I don't have any real like friends around me that do this. I've met a lot of beautiful people online and connected with people like we are right now. But having this kind of a conversation just feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't think for me, I'm not getting enough of it. So I love this. I am so
Yeah.
excited to be here with you. I'm so thankful that you invited me on. Like I was, as soon as this all happened, I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting. Not only do I get to talk about what I love, but I get to talk with somebody who gets it, somebody
Yeah.
who is connected to.
Yeah, it's I'm the same. I'm same like you. I don't have many friends who feel the way I do or understand what I'm talking. Luckily, my mother is quite understanding. My parents have always been very supportive of me. My fiance is also very supportive of me. He doesn't think, that I'm a nutcase or anything, which is really good because my ex-boyfriend, for example, he didn't believe in this sort of things. And he used to call me conspiracy theorists, blah blah blah. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I am lucky that, the closest people in my life support what I do. But I've also, I don't know if you've experienced this, but what I've experienced last week, the spirit people who claim to be spiritual or awakened are actually not.
I don't think everyone know. I haven't experienced it, but I don't think everyone knows what we mean when we say awakened, because unless you've actually awakened, you don't really know what that is. So I think people who have strong beliefs think that they're awakened
Right.
around, beliefs around anything.
Mm.
But I think for what we do, awakened really means finally realizing that you have to go within
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
you're not going to find happiness outside of you, but that
Yeah.
it's within you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, healing is a journey, not a destination. And
Yes.
it takes courage to
Mm-hmm.
say to yourself, right, I need to stop right now and start my healing journey. Because it's scary. You said that earlier, didn't you? It's really scary. It's can be very lonely, very lonely
Yes.
journey. Um, I mean, but there is no other way, if you want to become a better version of yourself, you have to walk through fire.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head again. It's a very lonely journey because even if you do have people around you that are supporting you, you still have to do that work on your own and you still have to have the courage to step outside your comfort zone
Yeah.
all the time. Like it's not like oh, I understand myself a little better and so now it's okay. I can jump out of my comfort zone whenever I want. No. Every day I struggle with that and every day I have to push myself to do things that I wouldn't normally have done. It
Yeah.
does get a little bit easier,
Yeah.
but there's so many things that I prevented myself from doing because I felt like I wasn't good enough
Mm.
that now I'm finding just little everyday things like my regular job. I work at a brewery and I work in the back office. So I don't see the people at the bar, the servers a lot. So sometimes on Thursdays we'll go out and have a drink after work. And I'm always uncomfortable going to the bar because I'm like, they don't know me. I work in the back office. They never see me. And it's every Thursday, even though I've been there for a few years, I still have that, I gotta go to the bar by myself. You know what I mean? But I think courage is something that you cultivate.
Yeah.
You have to, you have to step outside your comfort zone in order to see that you can do all
Yeah.
these things that you
Yeah.
thought you couldn't
Oh,
do.
well, absolutely. Um, I love actually going out by myself. I don't care, what people are going to say. There is a very nice coffee shop around the corner for me. I go there pretty much every day with my book. I don't even have to say what I want. They just know. As soon as I walk in, they
I
know.
love that.
And I only if I was to go with someone else, it would be my mom. We went today for coffee, or my fiance, when he's visiting me. Other than that, I love being alone, and I wasn't like that maybe last year, but now I can't wait to take my book and go to the coffee shop and have a cup of coffee, or go to the pub for a glass of wine. And but that comes with the power of self, loving yourself, respecting
Y-
yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so funny that you bring that up because the other night, it's very rare that I have time to myself. Well, actually, that's not true. My husband's a firefighter, so he works a couple overnights a week,
Right.
and my kids are away at school. But my son comes home like he's only away at school 3 days a week, and then he's home. So it's not very often that I get time to myself. But the other night, I had the house to myself, and I did a little video about how excited I was to have the house to myself. Like I went and sat on the deck and I listened to the bugs. I meditated. I read a little bit. Like I colored. Like I had so much fun by myself. I watched a chick flick.
Oh,
It was great.
that's good. Yeah, you need to dedicate time for yourself. It's healing to
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
I've traveled alone. I've been to all sorts of places by myself, and I love it. I absolutely love it.
Good for you. That's awesome.
And one day when I have a child, I'm going to encourage it to do exactly that, go and find yourself. Because this is something that
Yeah.
we've never been taught at school,
Yeah.
when if I had said to somebody 20 years ago, oh, I'm going to travel around the world because I want to find myself, they will call me delusional.
Yes. Yeah. And it's funny that you bring up children too, because one of the other things I love about human design is that when you understand who you are and you can break those limiting beliefs that are holding you back, and your children see that, then that's going to break that for them too. So what I noticed with my kids, I just got into this a few years ago. My kids are older. They're 20 and 24, or 20, yeah, 20 and 23. So they're all grown up, and I raised them the way that I was. And I
Hmm.
noticed a lot of the limitations that I put on myself, they have on them.
Mm.
And so I know that that's because that's energy transference. But I've also noticed that as I've been healing this, more so my son, my daughter's a little more outgoing and doesn't really care what anyone else thinks. But my son is he's got, in human design, he has closed heart center, and he's every single uh, gate in his heart is defined, which means that he's very heart centered, and he filled with love, doesn't understand why there's any kind of evil, why anyone would do anything evil. And so he's very, very, very sensitive. And that's how I was as a child. And as I'm healing myself, I can see that he's starting to break out of his shell too. And he's an adult now. So imagine if I did this work when they were children, he wouldn't have had to go through that. So I
Yeah.
feel badly that I didn't heal myself sooner, but I honestly didn't know.
Yeah, that's
But
it.
it's a powerful tool in parenting too, because when you heal yourself, or even if you just worked with your children and you knew what their energy said about them, you could foster their gifts and really help them to
Yeah,
bring out their gifts.
that's exactly what I'm looking forward to doing with my child. Sort of
Yeah.
try and teach my child things that I've never been taught, for example, how to run your own business,
Yeah.
love, self-worth, yoga, meditation.
Yeah.
We didn't have yoga back in school.
Yeah.
Um, but that is I was going to ask you something and I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I like when you said comfort zone, because when I talked to the other lady yesterday, we also mentioned comfort zone, and it's funny how I mean, we call it comfort zone for a reason. It's funny how people don't realize that success is outside the comfort zone. As I like to say, the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there.
Exactly. Yes, I love that.
How did you get out of your comfort zone, and how do you encourage the people you work with to leave their comfort zone?
So for me, it's having learned my human design and understanding what my limitations are based. Like I said, when I started studying, it was like reading my Bible, and I was
Yeah,
on the shadow side of a lot of my energy. And so when I started to look at the gift side and the city side, and I started to see what the potential was, then I started just pushing myself. Like if you want to grow and you want to be this person, this is how you need to do it. And so for me, it's more of a, I have this dream or this goal to be this certain person. And if I don't act in alignment with who I want to be, how am I going to get there? So
yeah,
I just push myself. And with my clients, what I do is I show them their potential by showing them, here's your shadow side, here's your gift side, here's your city side. And showing them that by going out of your comfort zone and trying new things, it's going to help you to see the bigger picture of things. It's going to help you to explore, and it's going to help you to become more comfortable with who you're supposed to be, which wastes a lot less energy than trying to be somebody that you're not, right?
yeah,
We're all of us that are conditioned, and we all are, we spend so much energy trying to be somebody we're not. When we can free that up and step outside of our comfort zone and become the person we were meant to be, we have so much more energy to do so much more of what we want and to help us to grow even more. So as you do it and you start to see that, wow, this is really working, it does get easier.
yeah, yeah, it does, yeah. I had a lady on my YouTube channel. We talked about toxic relationships, and she said something incredible. We're in a toxic relationship with society.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't it this true?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Because
and, and when you let go of this toxic relationship, it's so freeing. It's so you feel light as a feather, because it's draining trying to please everybody and trying to be someone that you're not.
yes. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. It's draining. It's feeling defeated, you
Yeah,
know? And when you start to heal yourself and you start to realize that, wow, I don't always feel drained or defeated at the end of the day. I actually have energy left and I'm excited about,
yeah,
the next step. It starts to push you more towards, all right, I'm going to do more of that because it makes me feel good. It's like when you don't exercise for a long time and then you start to exercise and you feel really good. It's like that.
yeah.
You
That's
start
what.
to realize,
Yeah, healing for me is like a workout for the soul.
yeah, definitely.
The more
It
you do
is.
it, the better you be at it.
Yeah,
Mm. Oh,
definitely.
this is such a nice conversation. I don't want it to end.
No, I know it's so fun, but we can always chat again. We don't have to
Yeah,
do
exactly. I
podcasts.
know. I am going to. I found your Facebook and your Instagram, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna join. You have a Facebook group. I saw.
I
Uh,
do. I have a Facebook group. I actually have a bunch
Fantastic.
of things, but I have a Facebook group. I have the website you've seen, the Instagram you've seen. I have a Substack. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's where I kind of tell stories about what I've been through and sort of where
Oh,
I'm coming from. And then I
yeah, I
also have,
will include all of your links in the description so everybody can find you.
I can send you a list of the links and feel free to, pick and choose which ones you want to put in the thing. I also have a community. And so the community is fairly new and it's something that I created to help support people on this journey because I think especially when you first start on this journey and you don't know where to go, it's difficult. So if we have a community of people that are on the same journey, we can sort of support each other. So I also have that. I'll send you the link to that as
Oh,
well.
excellent. Yeah. Yeah, I am gonna join your Facebook group. Um, at some point. Probably
Yeah, I
tomorrow.
would love that.
It's getting late now. Um, but yeah, we're connected on Facebook, on Messenger. So that's very easy to commit. You know, sometimes as much as I dislike technology and social media is getting on my nerves from time to time, it is beneficial for little things like that, you know. Oh, you sent me the link. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, I sent you a bunch. It absolutely is. I mean, we wouldn't have connected if it weren't for Facebook. And
Um,
I understand the whole, people want to get away from social media, but I don't use it to post about like my personal stuff or whatever. I use it to try to empower people because
yeah,
that's what I love to do. So
yeah,
as much as I used to not like it, now I love it, and that's
yeah.
why.
Yeah, social media controls you only if you allow it to control you.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
always switch off your phone.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I think I don't want to take too much of your time. As much as I love talking to you, I don't like to take too much of people's energies. You know, I appreciate when someone agrees to come on my channel and share their story, and I respect their energy and their time. And I'm very, very grateful. I'm so happy. So, you know, we were talking. I just and I've been having really good feeling about this since this morning. It was so easy to organize everything with you, even though you know it's 5 hours time difference.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's been great. And I've had so much fun. This has been amazing. I really have enjoyed talking to you because, like I said, this is like conversations for my soul. I love it. So I
Good,
really, really appreciate
good.
you having me on and just the candid conversation. It's been great.
We can do a live together because I've started doing lives on my business Facebook page every Friday. That was something that it was out of my comfort zone. And
Yeah,
I had limitations, you know, like you said earlier. I mean, absolute nonsense, by the way. You know, it's like, what am I going to talk about? What if I sound too much of a foreigner? Well, first of all, why wouldn't I have something to talk about? Also, I am a foreigner. You know, I can't change that, can I? And if someone doesn't like what I'm saying, they don't have to listen. And
right.
I've been doing lives, I don't know how long it's been, maybe few weeks, about a month, I think. Once a month, once a week, I go live on Friday usually, and it's a great way to get out of my comfort zone, so to practice something that I don't feel comfortable with.
Yeah, yeah. No, I would love to do one with you one time. I don't think I've done a live yet. I might have done like a quick like one, but I haven't done anything that has amounted to anything. I think I announced one of my programs through a live once and that
Right.
was it. But like I said, technology is not my friend usually. I'm getting better, but
Slowly, slowly, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think it's enough to know enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that to help you, you know, with your development, to help you spread the message. And I've recently downloaded a TikTok app on my phone. I've had TikTok channel for about a year, and I downloaded the app maybe a month ago. And this is something that is, you know, was right out of my comfort zone. I don't like to have many apps on my phone, but you know, it is actually beneficial for my business. So if I don't use it, I sign out. You know, it's there if I need it. If I don't want to use it, I'm just going to remove it. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And
It's
it's good
very
that we
simple.
have all these opportunities. Like there's TikTok and Substack and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of these places that we can go to see, is this going to be where it's going to work? Because
Yeah,
you want to have multiple places to try helping people, and where you get the most people is where you're going to spend
yeah,
the most time, right? So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
good to have multiple different places. And the other thing I like about it too is I love to write. So Substack is where you can write. I'm not so good
Yeah.
at the whole video thing yet because it's new for me. But things like this, podcasting and Facebook, are helping to prime me to
Mhm.
get ready for that because I
Yeah.
know that's where I need to be.
Yeah.
right? So my next step is to create my own podcast, which I am working on too.
Oh, that's good, good. Yeah, I see a lot of people are doing it now on the spiritual groups, inviting each other. I've actually decided that I'm going to honor my commitments by the end of the month, and that's it. After that, because it's too exhausting at the same time. And I don't resonate with everybody's energy, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to honor my commitments, and then I'm going to just focus on what I do.
Yeah. And you know what? It's good because you've tried it and okay, it's not working for me. I'm going to try something new. But
Yeah,
at least you're stepping outside your comfort zone to try something new
yeah,
because you don't know unless you try.
exactly. If I fail, I fail. If I succeed, succeed. It
You're
is
not
what
going
it
to
is.
fail. There's no such thing as failure.
Yeah, exactly.
It's,
I
you
know,
might
I know.
learn a lot, but you're
Yeah,
not going to fail.
it's not a failure, it's a lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, your cat is trying to appear on
I know.
camera.
I know. She's a little love bug. She loves to be with me, but you know what it is? She's
Oh
hungry. It's
God.
almost, well, it's 5 o'clock and she can tell time.
Oh,
And
all
she's a
right.
chunk. She's
Oh.
hungry.
Pretty little thing. Well, thank you so much for this. Oh God, I really enjoyed talking to you, and I'm sure we're going to keep in touch for the future. Thank you so much for your time, Joe.
Oh, thank you, Yana. This has been great. I love chatting with you, and we will definitely be keeping in touch.
Excellent. I'll speak to you later.
Okay, take care.